All right, solving absolute value problems. What we have here is an absolute value around the 3x minus 2. Now, a common mistake is people, whenever they hear absolute value, think it's got to be positive. You can have negatives in the absolute value. You just can't have an absolute value set equal to a negative. So if you look at number 2, this is what can't happen. An absolute value can't equal a negative. If it ever does, it's an automatic no solution. But if you have something like this with an absolute value, you can have negative and positive signs all throughout your absolute value. That's not a problem. What's important is that it's equal to a positive number. And when it is, this is how you solve it. You take whatever in the absolute value and you copy it down twice. And you set it equal to the number that's given, as well as the negative of the number that's given. So it becomes 3x minus 2 equals 13, and 3x minus 2 equals a negative 13. When you solve for absolute value, you're always going to have two equations. And then you just solve them as you've learned before. We add 2 to both sides, we divide by 3, and we get x equals 5. We add 2 to both sides, we divide by 3, and we get x equals negative 11 thirds. And you can plug them back in to check. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 minus 2 is 13. The absolute value of 13 is 13. Negative 11 thirds times 3 is negative 11. Negative 11 minus 2 is negative 13. And the absolute value of negative 13 is 13. Now, if we come down to the bottom one here, whenever you have an absolute value in the middle of an equation, you have to get the absolute value alone. You almost have to treat the absolute value as its own variable for a minute. How do I do that? I add the 6 over, and I get 20. I divide by 4, and I get 5. We never distribute through an absolute value. It's not a parenthesis. All we can do is get the absolute value alone. So we're adding the 6, we're dividing the 4. And then once I'm here, I set up what I was doing before. 2x plus 4 equals 5. 2x plus 4 equals negative 5. We set it equal to 5, we set it equal to negative 5, and we solve both of them. We subtract 4, we divide by 2, x equals 1/2. We subtract 4, we divide by 2, x equals negative 9/2. And you can check that it will work out.